It's been a while since we've been able to go one-on-one like this, and I have some questions for you.
All right, I have some questions for you.
Okay, so first question is this.
Okay.
On Benton Road right now,
Yep.
when you kind of duck in and before you go north off of 220, there's a huge billboard
Okay.
at the foot of, you kind of look up.
Okay.
Kind of like where Airline is, you kind of look that way. And it's one of those that flashes multiple things, but one of the current billboards is addressed to Mike Johnson saying, release the Epstein files right now.
Okay.
And my question is that you?
That is not me, but
What a patriot.
hey, that is, those billboards are not cheap.
I know.
Somebody's really
spending real money addressed to Mike Johnson. That's what I love. It's not just to anybody.
Would it be more beneficial to have that billboard in Washington, D.C. where he lives?
Perhaps. But hey, he may come home.
He may. I'm assuming what he's doing is getting text messages from all of his former neighbors being like, hey.
He might. That's right. Every day he gets another one.
Yeah.
But what if he has to duck into the Dodge dealership right there?
Yeah.
And he looks up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
you know what?
To me, honestly, I would imagine that's being funded by the campaign against him, right? Because he's up for re-election.
Oh.
So they're starting to lay in that ground. Yes.
It goes deeper.
That's what you got to understand, because we just, in fact, I don't know if we talked about it on here, but that was our family vacation. We went to D.C., met Mike Johnson, went on the White House tour, did all the stuff, because we live in his district. So he gives us all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's what you don't understand is like he has 2 offices, 2 staffs, 2 roles.
Okay.
So like he has his state office for his position that he was elected to in the state to be, is it the Senate or the Congress, whatever he is.
Yeah.
So he has that office and that staff, but now he's Speaker of the House. He has a whole nother office across the street.
Yeah.
So he has 2 offices. So he literally has 2 roles he's bouncing between every day. So it's pretty wild. So he has 2 different offices, 2 different.
If you're the what is he, Speaker?
Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House.
And you get bumped like this billboard does its damage and he gets knocked off the throne.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough because he's Speaker. He's not just a normal guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's campaigning 2 ways, right? He's campaigning in Louisiana to get re-elected to his position. But then he's also campaigning in the House that they don't knock him out. The Republicans
knock him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and they could.
Then he would just be a normal person again.
Yeah, we need somebody to explain all this stuff to us.
Yeah, dude, I'm not that'd be great.
But
I guess
release the files.
That's
Mike.
way more exciting. Let's not get into the semantics.
What really counts here?
Yeah. So my question to you.
Okay.
I know you have feelings about Rick Rubin. And his work.
Yes, I do.
He's obviously hit more home runs than he has strikeouts.
Decent batting average.
Yes. But some of his flops, you believe, were some of your favorite bands that he produced their albums.
Yes.
And so Tyler Childers' album came out a couple weeks ago. A lot of anticipation for this.
Yes.
Partnering up with Rick Rubin.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
I like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it is.
My first listen was just like, eh.
Yeah. I read somebody say, and it's generated a lot of discourse, this album has. There's been a lot of, think pieces written, a lot of thoughts thrown out there about it.
Okay.
But one of the interesting things is a famous rock critic said, everybody's problem with this record, if you've got a problem with it, is that it's not a weird country album. That's what everybody's calling it. He says it's a heartland rock album. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because when I listen to it, I hear Bob Dylan, I hear the Beatles, I hear rock.
Yeah. It almost a couple tracks are almost like an 80s punk vibe almost in some of it, Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
It's a lot of energy. Sonically, it's all over the place. Yeah. It's just wild. So I can understand the people who see Tyler as this very much country act, traditional country act, and they hear it and they're like, this is just too much. I get it.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate that he went in and said, let's go.
Yeah. Well, then when you look at his body of work as a whole, I mean, he had 2 albums ago was a gospel album, right?
Yes.
Which is a great album as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that one.
So, I mean, yeah, so he's good stuff.
Got to catch him live.
Yeah, he was awesome.
it was great.
What a showman. He, which brings me to another point. We were in, me and my wife, we went to Key West, and we stopped in Miami on the way back and stayed the night and went to the Coldplay concert. And in the lobby, before the concert, in the hotel lobby, a guy walks by and does a double take, and he's like, "Hey, I know you." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hey, I listen to your podcast." And it was
In Miami.
yes. And
Somebody's recognizing you for the pod.
For the pod, yes.
Wow, how did that make you feel?
We've gone. We're nationwide.
And that was amazing to see that picture of my great friend Nick. Give him a shout out, who ran into you in Miami.
It's funny when he told me who he was. I remember he left us our first review.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Full circle.
Yes.
But as people who speak about business, legacy, life building, character, all those things, you going to the Coldplay concert, immediately my red flags just went sky high.
Yes.
And my words to you were, you got a lot to lose, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
Be careful at that Coldplay concert.
We behaved.
Okay.
We behaved.
Okay, good.
But to go back to, the Tyler Childers show, because when I saw him, we were probably in, 15,000 seat venue.
Yeah.
Coldplay, we were at Hard Rock Stadium, 60,000 people. Okay. The hottest show I've ever been to. I mean, just sweltering, like just dripping sweat, no breeze. But, he has, my biggest takeaway was how small he made it feel to you. You felt like you were in a 1,000-seat venue with him.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty crazy to take that big of a venue and make it feel that kind of intimate and everybody involved.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good.
So maybe worth the trip.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, they're done with they only did 8 shows and, they did,
they're not coming to the municipal.
No, but I think they were 8 years ago was their last U.S. tour. So who knows when they'll be back.
Right.
Maybe get them at the Sphere. That'd be fun.
Okay.
All right. Well, enough about music.
Well, yeah.
How was your summer?
The summer is, listen, I like the summer.
Yes.
My family hates the summer.
Okay.
So we're kind of at this, there's a lot of tension in the house because I'm just in a great place. I get to sleep in just a little bit. I don't have to take my daughter to school.
No pickup, no drop off.
It's so good. And the sun comes up, I get to run and the sun's like perfectly sunrise. And it's just this amazing thing.
Yep.
And so I'm loving it, but school starts next week and my family will be happy.
Yes.
And so then spirits.
Yes.
Spirits.
What tends to happen to us in the summer is, the first probably third of the summer, we're still kind of on the same rhythms we were in the school year. Then it just slowly starts to, go down from there. So now it's like we're struggling to get up at 7. Mm-hmm. We're staying up till midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we like in 3 days, we have to get back on schedule.
Yeah.
We got to be getting up at 6.
Right. Well, so here's a good question for you. Are you a morning or a night person in the way of you carve out your own personal time?
Yeah.
Early in the morning or late in the evening? When does that happen for you?
What was that? Personal time?
Yeah. Just doing your thing, being creative, writing, journaling.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with the help of Coach Aaron, all of that stuff is kind of in my workday. But
okay, so during the day, you're a day person.
I'm a day person. Now, naturally, just my natural, growing up, I would be considered a night owl. Mm. So I would like to stay up.
Yeah.
And, I remember there were seasons where I would like go work out at 10 o'clock at night, right? Like that was like my thing, just like nighttime energy at night.
Yeah.
And the sleep in. But now it's now it's kind of hard to stay awake. So.
Yes.
I've texted you before after 9. It's like phone's on silent.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It doesn't even come through. The text does not even come through. And I think everybody who knows me knows that. It's like if it's 8:30, don't text him.
Yeah.
Don't bother. I think you tried last night. I woke up this morning and I'm just like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
he talking about? He's texting about Joey Guin and Myron. I'm like, what in the world? Amazing episode, by the way.
Oh yeah, good stuff. So, so this is kind of like this episode's really kind of a mid-season break for us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've gone, I think 20 episodes maybe, somewhere
This
around
is 65 right now.
But for this season, we've done 20 or?
I think this is 65, yeah.
Okay, 24. This will be 24, I think. I counted the other day. I
Okay.
think we did 40 last season.
Yeah, 40.
So we're going to take a little break,
Yep.
regroup. And man, we have some great people on the schedule for the rest of the year. We're real excited about.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a 2 or 3 week break. But what also was kind of coinciding with that is summer's over, right? Because I don't want to say I coast with the business, but it's just really hard to get a lot of traction in the summer because of vacations, traveling, kids. Yeah, a lot of days are cut short. A lot of days start late.
Yep.
Vacation. It's like I go on vacation, I'm back for a week, and then I leave for another 3 days. It's kind of hard to get momentum, right?
Well, you're a man of leisure.
I mean, I like to relax, next to a nice pool.
I do too. And it's time for me. Holy cow. I've been going for a while.
Have you not built the pool yet?
No. Don't need a pool. We don't need a pool. Contrary to what everybody says, you don't. I mean, do you need a pool?
Do you need a boat?
No.
Yeah.
Don't need a boat either.
You need a friend with a
right.
pool.
That's
and
right.
A friend with a boat.
That is exactly.
Jordy needs to buy a boat.
Jordan's got a pool.
He needs to buy a boat.
I don't know about a boat, man. I'm not a real boat person, but I think the point is right. You need friends who have stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Just walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away.
You bring some food. You bring some snacks.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So the summer's just difficult. So what I like to do is I kind of look back and I kind of, at the beginning of the year, you're setting these goals. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to think yearly and kind of set. I mean, there's just so much changes. I mean, just think about how much in your life and your business has changed in 6 months, right?
Yes.
Financial goals change. You pivot, economy changes, things out of our control, personnel changes, right? And so I'm more of a fan of quarterly or bi-yearly goal setting.
Okay.
Would you say bi-yearly? Would that be?
Biannual?
Biannual? I don't know. So.
Well, I've got something I could ask you.
Okay.
So in our roundtable groups, one of the discussions was about budgeting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is an idea of, something just happened.
Yep.
Let me take a look and see.
We just lost a.
Was a camera?
Oh, then it went back. Memory card full. Is that recording? Oh, maybe the battery. Is there a battery? Guys, we're working with what we have here. That's what it showed. What? Oh, the memory card's full.
We're just gonna keep these going.
Yeah, we don't need. Guys,
clean up every
the rest of this episode is just going to be single shots, okay?
It's just single shots. We're good.
As long as we don't talk at the same time.
Pick your shot. So the conversation was about budgeting and this idea that in the beginning of the year, you can create all these budgeted buckets and you have all this allotted. You say, I'm going to spend this much on payroll. I'm going to spend this much on marketing. I'm going to spend this much on blah, blah, blah. And I really struggle with that concept. Mm-hmm. And you're pointing at it right now because this idea of, okay, so I've got this payroll budget and I'm going to lock in on this budget, man. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people feel differently. They want a very good account of what you think you're going to spend and then the discipline that surrounds it. But let's say, like in my case, something just changed in the market. And now 3 customers that weren't buying product X from me are now buying product X from me. Something changed. I didn't know it was going to change, right? So if this is a significant amount of business, what if I have to augment my inventory? What if I have to augment my marketing? What if I have to augment my staff, my equipment, all of this to take care of this? Am I going to just look at my budget and say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I got a budget, and so I really struggle with that idea of this sort of rigid budgeting process. And I know some people would probably push back and say, it's just a guide. It's just a guide. Mm. But to me, business is so flexible and dynamic. I think you have to track a few things very closely week to week to week to know where you're going, know your trend line. I mean, know what your last 12 is really telling you. But do you go into your years, and I imagine you don't, where you've got this budget for all your expenses and you know exactly what you're going to do, and you've got this really, and people work so hard on this. They they get so geared up at the end of the year, like, I got to go work on my budget. It's going to take me 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
So, yeah, for me, I'm really more focused on percentages.
Okay.
And then the whole number of top line revenue. So that's really just the two things I'm looking at.
Okay. Percentages of what?
So percentages of payroll.
Yep.
So I just know what my range on a given month should be. Cost of goods, percentages.
Yep.
Mainly those two things. Most of the other stuff is kind of fixed, like my systems and my software that I have to pay for, phone, internet, all that stuff,
Right.
Rent, whatever.
Yeah.
Or payments, insurance, all that's kind of fixed in there. So yeah, so that's the two that fluctuate the most for me are my cost of goods and my payroll.
Yeah.
And I want to keep those in line.
Right.
So theoretically, if my revenue is down 10%,
Your percentage to payroll is going to be down.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually the percentage of payroll will go up at that point.
Well, yeah,
unless I let somebody go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, so then that's the question, right?
Yeah.
So now if my payroll percentage goes up, so then it's like, okay, either we have to get our revenue back up or we need to
Two levers, buddy.
let some people go.
That's right.
So that's just kind of my percentages. Now, obviously I don't do anything on a monthly basis, but I can look at trends. So if it's 2 or 3 months in a row this is happening, that's when I'm like, okay, something needs to change.
Yeah. But you do have a way in which you can, I don't know what your rhythm is for that, but you do look over those numbers.
I look at, So my main number is which is that top line revenue. I'm looking at, honestly, I get an update every single day
Yep.
of what my revenue is. And then with my team, I'm meeting every week. Then every month, I'm looking at the previous month that shows me not just the top line revenue, but all of my books, my P&L for the month.
Right.
And then I'm also looking at projected for the next month.
Yeah.
So just kind of looking at those and just seeing.
Yeah. But the idea that you would have a big camp session and make this huge budget for next year.
Yeah.
A book that's been pretty inspiring to me is a book called Simple Numbers by a guy, Greg Crabtree. And he makes the case that, at least in a business like ours, that you really need to understand what he calls the labor efficiency ratio. Okay. So what that is you got your payroll dollar that you spend weekly, right? Who knows what that number is? Maybe it's $20,000. Then you got, it's not top line. Okay. It's gross margin. It's a gross margin created. And so if you're looking top line, a lot of times people will go payroll to sales, right? And so you're like, well, 10% payroll sales, man, I'm doing great. 12% payroll sales, I'm doing great. Restaurants, a little different, whatever. But in his case is that, top line doesn't really matter. What really matters is gross margin. So you want to put gross margin over payroll. That factor is what you're steering by. And I think he's right. Because we can have a week where sales are through the moon, but gross margin is low because of the category of product we've sold. You guys know a little bit about roofing. Roofing is very, very low in margin, right? So you sell a ton of roofing, got great sales, but your gross margin is quite low.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you turn around and sell fiber cement and trim, which has a higher gross margin, you don't need as many sales because your gross margin is higher, i.e. now your ratio looks stronger.
Yeah.
And his point is you can go through and check every line expense on your P&L, all of them. Go check them. At the end of the day, if you concentrate on labor efficiency ratio, that may be all you really need to look at.
Yeah.
Because you said some of these things are fixed, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can't get yourself in a deal where your rent is 4 times higher than what you need to pay.
Sure.
But I think he's right because that expense is so high weekly. Something, kid hit a forklift, hit the building. It's going to cost $4,000.
Yeah.
Everybody's freaking out, right?
Yeah.
And they should be. I mean, kids shouldn't hit the building. But if your weekly payroll is $20,000 a week,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
how does that compare?
Yeah. Well, and we're in different industries. So you're selling products.
Yeah.
I'm selling service mostly, right? So that's a little different.
And cost of goods comes from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so there's a little bit of a difference there. So I say the ratio you were just talking about, I'm probably more consistent because my cost of goods are pretty low and pretty standard, right? My big expenses are going to be things that are like to help the company, like rebranding or buying a new vehicle or buying a new machine or something like that, right? So it's like a capital expense type thing.
But that still doesn't compare to your labor, though, right? Those expenses aren't close to your labor.
No.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say this. For me, a very important number for me is my break-even number.
Okay.
So I want to quarterly get what my break-even number is. So like this past quarter 2, we grew a lot. We brought on 2 new technicians. I'm talking about our plumbing company. 2 new technicians, brought on some vehicles, right? So then obviously our monthly costs go up. So then it's like, okay, well, now what's our current break-even number?
Yeah.
And that helps me.
Yeah.
Sure. But ultimately, I'm not the numbers guy, right? I love the episode we did with Jason and Jamie with the 5 voices, because that really helped me feel good about where I'm at in 2 of my companies. My 2 controllers I have are both guardians. And that's who you want in those positions, right? And so I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Because they are always on watch. And as annoying as they can be for someone like me, who always has great plans and doesn't care about taking risks, and they don't like that, right? So they can be annoying when they put water on the fire I have. That I feel very confident in that. And so I just kind of let them do their thing. That's how they're wired. They know, and they can come to me and with any of the concerns they want to have, and let that be known. But my focus is always going to be on scaling and driving revenue.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of where I live.
As
so
it should be.
That kind of leads me into 2 of the books that I've read over the summer that have been great. Oh man, you know what? I don't even know. Let me look it up here because I want to make sure that I give the proper shout out here.
The Advantage.
Yes. The Advantage by
Go ahead and say this. Go ahead and say his name. Let's hear it.
Patrick Lencioni.
Lencioni?
Yeah.
Is that
and he has some great books, right? I mean, Dysfunctions of a Team.
He is the fable. He's the fable master.
Yeah. I mean, look,
give that man a fable.
When he decided to write his writing style, he was thinking of me. He's like, listen, we need somebody simple-minded.
Well, listen.
We need him to be able to read.
I see him reading the New Testament and following Jesus's teaching method and going, you know what? He's onto something
he's onto
here.
something.
This man told fables.
Yes.
I'm going to tell fables.
Yes. Yeah. You know how the disciples were not the smartest, not the smartest of the bunch or the most educated. I would say that I'm similar. Yeah. Could you tell me that again? What does Michael Scott say? Could you tell me that? How would you tell that to a 5th grader?
Yeah. You seen The Chosen?
Yes.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I've seen like a scene or something, and Jesus seems like real, kind of like a wise guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was surrounded by some. So anyways, Lencioni, great book. So The Advantage. And then couple that with the other book, because they kind of bleed over and kind of compound on each other. But The Culture Code.
The Culture Code.
Yes, The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. So between those 2 books, it's really given me a springboard on kind of the rest of this year for me is focused on not only just the culture of my companies, but also more tangible. Like, it's the advantage is very practical on how your company should be structured, mainly meetings, and then what questions should be asked in those meetings. It's kind of the thing. So I want to go through those real quick. You good with that?
Go for it.
So what I like about the advantage, so they start off and here's what's great. He says, you need two things for a successful business. Okay. You need to be smart. You need to be healthy. But out of those two, he says healthy businesses always outperform smart businesses. It's like, it does not matter how smart you are. If you're not a healthy organization, you're not going to make it. So he takes health over smartness any day, which is good for me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I'm never going to be the smartest one in the room.
Okay. So
all right.
Can I pause you here?
Sure.
Let's just pause it.
Let's pause it.
I love business books.
Yep.
Sometimes business books can oversimplify things, right?
Yes.
So before we move forward, your business needs to be smart, it needs to be healthy. Okay. So what if I'm a smart, healthy Blockbuster Video right now? Mm-hmm. How about that? How am I doing?
Yeah. Well, I would say that if you're a Blockbuster Video, I would say the reason why Blockbuster Video doesn't exist anymore is because of the smartness, right? I think that they just,
and maybe they had the chance to be Netflix.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you think of, and this is where we kind of, on our last episode, we were getting into it with my son Carter and telling him to be focusing on AI, right? Because like we're in this pivotal moment right now, and we have a lot of people that are refusing to embrace the rapid changes with AI. I mean, rapid.
Yes.
Like, just think of 2 years ago. We didn't even know what it was. Now they're about to release 5.0, and it's about 4.5 to 5.0 is supposed to be the biggest leap that's ever existed, which is crazy because what you can do with 4.0 was insane, right?
Yes.
So, but I think that's where it comes down to this smartness is now it doesn't matter, and it goes back to the healthy too, is like he says, you cannot out strategize poor health.
That's true.
You can't, it doesn't matter what your strategy is.
Yeah.
So you can say, all right, we're dysfunctional. There's all the political talk. People don't agree on the goals and the visions and all this stuff, right? There's the just unhealthiness. People are having screaming matches, but we're going to embrace this new AI and it's going to solve everything. Well, that's never going to happen. Right. Now, on the flip side, if everybody is aligned, everybody's on board with the vision, everybody treats each other with respect, everybody's professional, then we say, hey, we're going to take this initiative and embrace AI. Well, now you're going to be able to do something, right? So you can never out strategize the unhealthiness.
Yeah.
So I say that to say like that, you think of Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster's death was streaming.
Yeah. Well, it's just a tidal wave of revolution. And so I guess at the end of the day, we're going to take this book in good faith.
Yep.
And that means that, yes, you have to be smart, you have to be healthy, yes, but you also need to be in the right place. You can't be in the complete wrong place because you can be right at the wrong time. And, I think that does happen to businesses.
Yep.
So if we take it in good faith and say, okay, push Blockbuster aside, let's talk about a competing plumbing company.
Well, yes and no. Okay. Because I can say this, you give me a healthy team of leaders, you could tell me and say, hey, in 90 days, this industry is going to go away. You have 90 days to figure out a new industry and how to make money. If you give me a healthy team, I can do that.
Perhaps.
Well, I'm just saying.
Maybe.
I'm just saying you can.
Yeah.
And so you can pivot.
Yeah.
I've pivoted. I've pivoted a ton.
Sure.
Right? I'm still pivoting.
Yeah.
And so, but those core 3, 4, or 5 leaders that are 100% aligned with me have been with me through all of it. Right.
Yeah.
So, but you go ahead with the plumbing, your analogy.
Okay, so if we take it in good faith and we've got a head-to-head plumbing company, right? Let's go back to our basketball days. Okay, you've got two teams that are, let's say, evenly matched. And in our case, that means they're going to be sub 6 foot, moderately athletic white boys playing basketball.
Yes.
We're going to assume that the teams are more or less evenly talented.
Okay.
We're going to assume that the teams are more or less evenly coached. They have more or less even resources, right? Their gyms are both, what they are.
Yep.
Now, that wouldn't be the case when me and you were playing because we had a huge talent discrepancy. But let's just, for the sake of example, talk about two teams that are basically similar, right? When it comes to the health,
Yes.
a lot of times it just comes down to who wants it more. Who's willing to do the things on the edges?
Yeah.
Who's willing to block out harder? Who's willing to set better screens? Who's better to make better passes? Who's going to hustle for the loose balls? Those things, to me, represent the healthy organization versus the non-healthy organization.
Yep.
And yes, sometimes it just simply comes down to who has better organizational health. So the book's called The Advantage.
Yes.
And he could write one sentence and it would be that, right?
Yes.
The team that is more healthy is going to beat the team that is not.
Yes. Yeah. So here's how he boils it down to 6 questions for leadership. And the leadership needs to be aligned. And I love that both of these books talk a lot about keeping the vision in the forefront, right? And he even said the leadership, all of their titles should be CRO, Chief Reminding Officer. He said, because they should be reminding the organization and the employees every single day of the mission. Because, and I'm guilty of this, right? Because I'm like, well, obviously, I mean, this person's been with me so many years. Obviously, they know what the mission is, right? But man, how fast do we forget?
Yep.
Right? And so CRO, Chief Reminding Officer. So here are the 6 questions. First, why do we exist? And that really just gets into the mission. It's very broad. That should be answered within 30 seconds of a meeting, right? But how many meetings do we have where we don't even answer that question, right? I mean, that literally should be the first thing any meeting starts with. Hey, before we get into this, let's remind why we're all here. Boom. There we go. How do we behave? That's the second question. And that's really getting into the character and values. That's really hitting on that healthy chord, right? Yeah. How do we behave? This is very simple. What do we do? The service or the product that you're providing. And then this one gives, digs a little deeper is how do we succeed? And I think that really hits the chord on being smart is, what do? We provide plumbing services. Well, how do we succeed? That's really getting into what is your strategy for success?
How are we different?
Right? How are we different? Yeah. What is the strategy? Because there are 200 plumbing companies. That's right. So then what's our strategy? Okay. The 5th question, what is most important right now? And this is why that's a good question for me, is because what tends to happen with me being visionary is I'll just come in and spit out some like really great ideas or paint this like, hey, this is where we're going. I have this idea. This is the first step. Let's get it done. And then the next week rolls around and nothing's been moved. Right. And so then that's why I like this last question is who must do what? And that's being very clear. Okay. So if this is our strategy and this is the most important thing for that strategy to take place, who is the one that's taking the ball and running with it?
Yeah.
And, so I think that's really, and so he just really says, if those, when a team agrees on all of these, then there is cohesiveness and healthiness. So I really like that. Then he gets into meetings, which this is just very practical because what tends to happen in my organizations is we have set meetings, but the same things are discussed and covered in those meetings, right? So he breaks it really down, and I love this. And this is the most, we were already implementing this in one of my companies, but this is a 10-minute check-in every morning. And all that is exchanging information. So that is the leadership team gets together. Here's information exchange. Like, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I have on my plate. This is a fire that needs to be addressed. Information exchange. And that's just a 10-minute check-in every single morning. And that's not happening with us, right? And so when that's not taking place, what I found is we're discussing things in meetings that if that 10-minute meeting was happening every morning, we would never even get to our weekly meeting, right? We would be solving it in real time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's like it doesn't even belong on the agenda. And that's another thing that this book has helped me do is I need to have someone that's the guardian of the agenda, right? Because like I have I'll come and one of my managers will have an agenda for the meeting, and I'm like, why are these things even on here? Like, this could have been discussed 5 minutes 3 days ago and solved. Like, why is this even here?
Yeah. So you're not setting the agenda.
I don't set the agenda. I have my manager setting the agenda. Now I have my own stuff I want to bring, or I could even tell him, hey, put this on the agenda. We need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So, yep. So 10-minute daily, then of course a weekly tactical staff meeting. This is the most important meeting. I'm sure you have something like this, but to me, this is really accountability based. Kind of, hey, this is what you committed to do in the past week. Tell me how you've won and fulfilled those objectives. This is what tends to happen is in those weekly meetings, we always tag it with critical issues. And then that meeting turns into a 3-hour meeting, right? And it just bogs it down and nobody's prepared for it. And it's just like, so what I'm doing now is a monthly critical issues meeting to discuss critical issues with long-term impacts. And so when, something comes up, I'm just saying, hey, put this on that monthly meeting. We're not going to talk about it weekly because we're going to bog it down. And then we can all come to that meeting with our own investigation we've done, ideas we've done, and streamline that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then quarterly offsite review, then yearly goal setting. So anyway, so that's kind of the format they lay out. And I think that it really works well with what I'm doing. So I'm slowly implementing that. So yeah, good stuff. Now, how I'm piggybacking that off on the culture code, because when you talk about meetings, right, and that's what I love the 5 voices that we talked about, because one of the things Jamie or Jason said is the quietest voice in meetings should speak first. You should know their voices and let them speak first, right? Because what tends to happen is the pioneer comes in and just like vomits on all of them, and they all get scared and is like, well, decisions are made. My opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. But that goes into this culture code. The most successful teams, and this does coincide with the advantage a lot, has nothing to do with experience or intelligence. The most successful teams, the team members feel the safest. Their safety. And so that's really spoke to me a lot too, is kind of getting into this. Is there, do people feel safe, listen to those type of things? And so you think of like a team or a meeting, is that a safe space, or is that a space where people are getting, fingers pointed at them, or shot down, or belittled,
Yeah.
So anyways, good stuff, culture code. And it goes into, there's a lot into it. Yeah. But that's the main concept.
And okay, so the flip side of the coin is if somebody feels safe, then what?
Well, I think that if somebody feels safe, then there's vulnerability.
Okay.
I think that gives them permission to admit when they make a mistake.
Okay.
Or admit when there's a weakness.
Yeah.
Or peer to peer. Hey, I see this weakness in you. Like, this isn't an attack. We're safe here, but I see this weakness in you.
We're in the trust tree.
Or being at the top, do they feel safe to come to me? Mm-hmm. Do they feel safe to come to me and say, hey, I see a weakness here, or I see you not doing what you said you were going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a whole nother level of vulnerability that really starts from the top.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really his thing, and it really does have to start from the top. But, being vulnerable is starting off the meeting with, hey, here's what I'm working on to improve because I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
Or here's where I made a mistake last week, or here's how I could have done things different, or here's how I'm evaluating where I can grow.
Yeah. And how many times have you heard your leaders say, I was wrong, I made a mistake,
Yeah.
and I can do better?
Yeah.
How many times?
Politicians say that every day, don't they?
Release the files.
Release the files. No, and I think that's safety, right? So if we have this culture where it's like, hey, you're either performing or you're out of here, right?
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to be vulnerable or, So I think that's really, it's almost like it creates some sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Of knowing, hey, I'm secure here. There's security. I'm safe here. I can really go and take some leniencies and do some things that, So, but look, I understand why this doesn't exist in most companies.
Well, as I'm hearing you talk about it, and it's obviously the Simon Sinekization of the modern workplace, right? Like he started this whole thing with, I forget what the YouTube talk is, but it's got a billion plays or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like his speech where he talks about the safety and all that stuff. I think there's a lot to it. I think that it has to be underpinned correctly, right? And so I'm just going to call the obvious here. But like an environment where everyone is completely safe and totally comfortable, I think is not true to the spirit of what should be. Because we have an obligation to our customers and we have an obligation to each other. Okay, so let me flesh this out.
Yep.
You need to feel safe to be able to call out and recognize things within ourselves and within others that are incorrect, right? We need safety to feel vulnerable to say, I made a mistake, I did X, Y, or Z. Now, is that culture permitting everything?
Sure.
No. The culture is not permitting everything. Correct. And it can't.
No.
So to a degree, there will always be self-preservation in those meetings. I don't care how safe we think we are.
I think, and he goes into it on this book is, safety, yes, but clear expectations have to be set. Right. And so I go back to, I can't remember who it was, if it was Andy Stanley or John Ortberg, but I remember reading a book years ago and he was talking about empowering leaders in your organization. Right. And he says, hey, if you have an eagle and you're not letting them soar, they're going to go soar somewhere else. That's the bottom line. So his analogy was, it is your job to draw the box and then there's freedom in the box. So then you think of employees or an organizational chart, I would imagine the higher up you go, the bigger that box is. Right.
Right.
And so I view it that way.
Yeah.
Is empowering and kind of giving those, and the truth is you have an employee who is doing a great job and is, doing everything expected of them, then their box becomes bigger, right? That it expands. They're more empowered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. And so I agree with that.
Well, I think one of my development, my evolution, whatever you want to call it, in leadership within leading the company is developing both of those ideas, that you can be a place of tremendous grace and tremendous understanding and compassion for people, and you can also hold very high standards.
Absolutely.
And so that to me is that's the magic.
Yep.
Because a lot of people want very high standards.
I think that creating that safety though is like, think of it this way. Your kid kicks the ball across the street and takes off to run across the street, right? Now, in the kid's mind, you telling them, no, you can't run across the street is limiting them, right? But what you're really doing is providing safety for them. And so I think that a company with no expectations is definitely not a safe place.
That's right.
Because they are questioning, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Am I hitting the target? Right. So I think that there has to be rules and boundaries in order to have the safety and freedom, which is the antithesis, right, of culture. Culture would say, no, you want somewhere with no boundaries or expectations, and then you can really be you.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's a lot of confusion.
Right.
So yeah, I think both. So it's one of the things that resonated with me is the safety is looking at trade companies and now being 5 years into working with these trade companies and starting them up and bringing people in from other that have experience at other companies it is almost 100% fear-based leadership.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's very kind of old school
Very
way
old
of
school,
thinking. Yeah.
very old school way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of, high tension, a lot of raising your voice, a lot of emasculating, a lot of, okay, you do this again, you're not going to be here. You don't do what I say, you're not going to have a job.
Yeah.
Well, that's not much safety, right?
Yeah.
And so that's to me where I go from I go from a leadership perspective, making it safe. Yeah.
One of the things we're trying to put in currently in our manager meetings is to be sure that when we violate our KCRs, our key customer requirements, when something goes off the rail, that we address it, that it gets addressed. And you may go, oh yeah, wow, that's pretty revolutionary. But actually, these guys can move from one crisis to the next, and so it's like this thing happened, and then this thing happens, and then you never even actually visit and study the thing that happened.
Correct.
So you never bring the person in and sit them down and say, hey, tell me about what just happened.
Yeah.
Right. And that, again, you're like, really? It's like, no, I'm telling you, it happens more than you think.
Yeah.
And so in that, we tried to go through and say, what does the process look like to talk to the person who made the mistake? And one of the things that we landed on was approach them with curiosity. Okay. Because what you're talking about is somebody makes the mistake, the manager, the leader goes after him.
Oh, yeah.
And how does he come into the room? Guns.
You lost this account?
Guns blazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like just furious.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that sets the whole tone.
Yep.
Rather than going curious. Like going curious. Like, you can have time to feel that emotion later, but when you're sitting down with a person, be first curious. What happened?
Yeah.
And do you understand why these actions led to this, right? Starting that way, and then coaching, teaching. Now, if it's the same conversation over and over again, he's got to go. They got to go. She's got to go.
Yep.
But ultimately, starting from that framework with all the managers so that they don't come in guns blazing, because that person will never learn, right? Or, they'll just shut down. So how do we, when these moments happen, and they're going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
How do we respond as leaders to those actions?
Yeah, and most people don't want to investigate why you lose a customer or you don't get the job, right? Because there's this, that's going to be an attack against me, or I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Right. Or that might be what they tell me. Right. So they just avoid it. And for me, and this goes back, and that's one of the things I remember a story Adam Lytle tell, and I've shared it before, but when he was early on doing sales, he didn't get a listing. And he said, every listing I didn't get, I called back and asked him why. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Right. And he said this one listing, he said, well, the other guy was wearing pants and you showed up in shorts. Right. And Adam's like, well, guess what? I've never worn shorts ever again to a listing appointment.
Pair of Dockers immediately.
Exactly. Were they pleated?
Yes, they were.
So, but that goes into that, right? And so I'm always asking, like, if we don't get an estimate, okay, or if we don't get an estimate, or if we get a lead and we don't convert it, I make my guys write out the narrative of why we didn't get that. Right. And then I'm looking at that narrative and I'm saying, is it anything we could have controlled? Yeah. That's really what we're looking for, right? Because there are some things out of our control.
Sure.
Right. There are some crazy clients, and there are some clients with unrealistic expectations we will never be able to meet.
Yep.
Right. And so that's really the lens I'm looking through. Man, it actually gives me confidence when it's something out of our control.
Yeah.
But man, how painful is it when it's something we could have controlled? Right?
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts. And that's back to the analogy of the team that's just willing to do the extra. The little extra sometimes gets the job.
Yeah.
And man, when right now in the economy, and I'm sure you feel this too, you need every job you can get. We need every job we can get. We're not in the business of just turning down work right now.
No.
You need it.
Yes.
We need it.
Yes. And that's a scary place to be. Because then, a great place to be is when you have so many options, you get to pick and choose the best.
Right. That's fun.
That's fun.
That's a lot more fun.
Yeah. And so that's what is so funny to me. Because like somebody comes to me and says, oh man, this account is just, or this person is just, and I'm like, well, if we had 10 options, we wouldn't have to be dealing with them.
That'd be great.
Right?
Yeah.
They're our only option.
Yeah.
So you got to go work with them.
Well, and what a great line that will always stick with me from a gentleman named Gene Ortiz.
Oh yeah.
Where the customer is always precious.
Oh yeah.
And it's so true. It's so true. He doesn't say the customer's always right.
Yeah.
He just says the customer's always precious. And to me, the next sentence is handle with care. Because if this person is a headache and you're not just super excited to deal with them, they're still precious.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we live in the Google world, and the worst thing we can get is a bad review, right? And so it is, that's very difficult to navigate, right? And then the bigger you get, the more extensions you have out there that you're trusting to be able to resolve those things and keep that in line. That's a difficult place.
It is.
What does the next season for you look like?
So for the year,
yeah,
we've got quite a few trade shows to go to, so I'm excited about that. I am.
What do you do at trade shows?
Well, it depends on what it is, but two of the shows are going to be with our co-op, buying co-ops. So Do It Best, which is now Do It Best True Value. I don't know if you heard the industry news. Do It Best buys True Value, making them the biggest now, which is really amazing.
So for you going to trade shows, you have a booth there, or you're going and looking at vendors and what they have?
You're going and looking at vendors. You're going to see what the new stuff is. You're going to have some education classes, just relationships with people. That's one part of it. I go to another one for our buying group for lumber building materials called ABS. I'm the board chair for Construction Suppliers Association, which is our roundtable organization serving in 5 states. So I'm leading the conference in Florida this year, and so that's a little nerve wracking. I got to lead an entire conference.
Do you need a keynote speaker?
I do. We could pod live from the
live podcast.
You know what? I think she'd let us do that.
Live podcast.
We could moderate. You know what? I should ask her. Can Busy Smalls moderate the CSA panel?
You said it's in Florida?
It is.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, it's it's in Destin.
Destin? Okay.
What do you think?
I can get with Destin.
I love it.
Orlando, I'd like to go to Disney, but I can do Destin.
I love it. You know what? I think I'm going to put in the suggestion today. So we've got all that stuff going on, which I'm excited for.
Because you think of that, you're moderating whatever this roundtable discussion is, but you have perspective of who these people are. Mm-hmm. You know their stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is not just my little group. This is all the groups. Yeah. So these are some of the biggest heavy hitters.
How many
in the
are in that
Southeast.
organization?
Oh man, there is quite a few. So we would expect, over 100 in the room, of
and
dealers.
Your cohort, your roundtable group, how many are in that?
12-ish.
And they're all industry related.
Well, we're all non-competing
Yes.
businesses.
Markets.
Yeah,
different
markets. Yep.
Same
so we
industry.
share wisdom and all that. So that's what the organization is all for. Again, I have the pleasure of serving as board chair, so I've got to do a lot with the conference. So that'll be fun. But here's the deal: like the economy still feels a little shaky.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So what can we do in the face of that?
Well, I think it's the confidence, right? Mm-hmm. And so then, I think that on a very local level, it's what can we do to counteract this lack of confidence in the economy.
Yeah.
And so, what I don't want to do is compete on price. And
however,
in fact, I got a text message this morning.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that is the easiest path.
Sure.
But you can't undo that.
Right.
So you lower prices, you can't, when the economy's strong, go raise your prices back up.
Yeah.
So like, I had someone text this morning and said, well, this competing company is offering this military discount, which is almost like, looking at the numbers, is almost like 50% discount off of what we're charging. And I'm like, well, okay, so then our goal is to take that 50% and monetize it. Right. And then say, okay, well, this is not a, this is not a $5,000 issue. This is a $900 issue. Right. Because that's the difference here. So then the $900, then it's almost like, well, we can make up, now let's go into our value. We can make up that $900 by doing these 3 things that company doesn't do. And in the long run, that's going to by far benefit you. Right. Yeah. So it's just that it's just building that confidence. It's just not built in. We're swimming upstream. Yeah. If you will.
Yeah.
So, and who knows? I don't know if Too Late is going to lower the interest rates. Isn't that what he nicknamed them?
Yeah, Too Late. I think that's right.
Too Late. I knew a Too Low, which was a barber that has a barber shop here in town. Too Low, but Too Late.
Too late.
I might be too slow.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see the interest rates come down. I really would personally, and I'm sure you would too.
Yeah. Come on, Too Late. Hashtag Too Late.
That's right. Release the files, Powell. So yeah. Look, but yeah.
But it goes back to we can either take a victim stance and play victim. Oh, well, my business is struggling because of this thing out of my control. Right. And that's easy to do. And when you take that stance, that's the quickest way for you to get recognition and to get people to feel sorry for you and for people to really, that's just the easiest way to cope with the struggle in a bad economy. Or we can say that's out of our control. Too Late's.
He's not listening to me.
He's not listening to me. So then it's back to your team, getting them aligned. What can we do? Let's dig into this strategy, right? Goes back into that question of what is the most important thing this week for us to do, and how are we going to succeed in this tough economy, and pivoting.
Yeah.
And
there's so much of it, and we'll go because I know we're a little over time, but there's so much of it in what you just pointed at in developing excellence from the top to the bottom, in the leadership, in the mentality, in the focus, in the framing, in the communication, in the culture, in the sales, like in the sales process. What you just said is that, hey, they're $500 cheaper or whatever. Okay. So how do you respond? What's the response? How do we demonstrate that $500 is going to actually cost you more money down the road?
Yeah.
Right. So so much of this is really the onus is on the leader to say, we're going to develop ourselves into an organization that is robust enough to fight those, that type of competition.
Yes.
And how do you do that? It's not easy to say, because people come out there and throw price, and that gets my attention. Yeah. You're that much cheaper? Okay, I'll listen.
Yeah. Well, I think that if I'm giving my TED Talk is, as the leader, are you going to give up everything you've worked to build because of this, or are you going to press in? And that's difficult, especially if you've been in a place with a good economy where you've kind of been on cruise control and you've had a lot of freedoms, and you've been going on a lot of trips, and you've had your LSU season tickets, and you've been outsourcing or abdicating all of your sales and stuff to your team, and now that's dried up.
Yeah.
So are you going to close up shop, or are you going to get your hands dirty again?
Yeah, dig in.
Yep. So that's the question. Yep.
Okay. Sponsor time.
Oh, yeah, sponsors. You go with yours so I can look mine up.
All right. Ivy's Building Materials, 3 locations, Houghton, Mansfield, and now in Blanchard. We are a family-owned hardware store / lumber building materials dealer. So you can come to us for paint, hardware, plumbing, electrical. If you want to build a house, we can do a takeoff and tell you how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
We're doing drywall. We're doing install doors and windows. We've got flooring now in Blanchard. A lot of exciting stuff going on. We've been very fortunate here lately. Speaking of the Google reviews, we got this excellent Google review the other day. Just give me 1 second. And so it said, I come to the store in Halton. I deal with Miss Kim. I'm a widow and I need help. And she is so good to help me. And the whole team read that and was just beaming with pride that Kim would take, because our mission is improving lives one sale at a time. Mm-hmm. And to have that response was just phenomenal. So congrats, Kim. Way to go. Ivy's Building Materials.
I like it. Go see Kim.
Go see Kim.
Hey, have you gotten the toy section yet?
Well, we added Man-Made Soap from Chris Graham in Blanchard. And I got to tell you, I've been using it.
Yeah.
I've been using
Winchester.
the Man-Made Soap.
Winchester?
I haven't tried the Winchester, but I've tried quite a few. I got Blueberry yesterday and I'm very excited. And so we just added that.
Is it selling?
It's fun. Oh, yeah, it's selling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What, it's a toy aisle. I also was in an establishment the other day and they had a Bitcoin kiosk. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Are y'all taking Bitcoin?
We're not taking Bitcoin currently, but I'll take a look at this Bitcoin kiosk.
It was like in this gas station, and I guess you can go and log into your account and cash out or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay, that is crazy because a lot of questions pop up. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, same here too. Bitcoin. All right. Priority Roofing, locally owned, family ran business specializing in residential and commercial roofing, repairs, replacements. No job is too small. There's not a week that goes by where I don't have somebody call me and talk about how either Hannah or Shay helped them out and just really made their experience great. In fact, my sister just got a roof put on with Priority Roofing. So there you go. Plumber for Hire, locally owned plumbing company specializing in residential and commercial plumbing. This team is just growing and they're doing such a good job. And really, really good. No job too small, too big. We're responding to $100 service calls off Google, and we're doing $10,000 jobs boring under roads. So we're do it all, and no matter if it's small or a big job, that we want our clients to be happy. Clint Davis Counseling, helping people make lasting internal change for external growth and success. They had their ribbon cutting like 2 weeks ago for their new Benton office over there off of what is that road? Yeah, just in Benton. Yeah. So in Benton, my mind went blank on what that road's called, but we weren't invited to the ribbon cutting, so we might need to ask Clint about that. Mm-hmm. It probably got lost in the mail.
That's right.
Anyways, they're great. They have 3 locations and they just really do good stuff for our community.
Great.
So, yeah.
All right.
Anything else? Yeah. So we're going to be back in a few weeks.
We'll be back.
We have some good folks lined up.
Good stuff.
All right, man. See you.